Hello and welcome to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for Lancaster Lebanon League's biggest and best rivalry, the Hempfield Black Knights taking on the J.P. McCaskey Red Tornado. Alongside Reggie Weiss, my name is Bob McCool. These two teams have combined for the last 4 Lancaster Lebanon League championships. McCaskey has won the last 2 in a row. The head coach for the Hempfield Black Knights, Warren Goodling, in his 18th season, 316 wins and 150 losses in those 18 seasons. A much more balanced approach and a much slower pace is what Hempfield will prefer to play in this game especially. And one of the guys who has to be big tonight for them, Reggie, is their biggest player, Alexis Amaro.
Alexis Amaro is a senior, 6'4", averaging 11.7 a game. He's getting to the foul line pretty many times, which means they're getting him the ball all over the court. What he's got to do is to make sure he takes care of Akeem Washington for McCaskey.
For the McCaskey Red Tornado, their head coach is Steve Powell. Steve Powell's done a great job with this program, taking it to another level, not only in the Lancaster Lebanon League, but in the district playoffs as well. They've won 2 of the last 3 Quad A championships and the state playoffs as well. And it's been a star system here at McCaskey High School, and this year is no different. They've got themselves an outstanding talent in 6'5" senior Dustin Salisbury.
Dustin Salisbury, a senior, can do it all. He's averaging 20.6 a game. He's been to the foul line over 100 times already, and he is a big-time prospect, Division I prospect. A lot of schools contacted him. He'll make his decision later on in the season, maybe wait till the end of the season, but he can play.
We'll take a look at the rest of the starters. In addition to Salisbury for the McCaskey Red Tornado, inside will be Akeem the Dream Washington, 6'8" inside. Carlos Martinez, Luis Gonzalez, and Patrick Mendez also filling out the rest of the starting 5. For the Black Knights, along with Alexis Amaro, will be Jeremy Dixon inside, Tom Deal, Matt Cristino, and Brett Rhodes around the perimeter. Our officials for tonight's basketball game, Tim Bartholomew and Travis Sorensen. And we are underway. The McCaskey Red Tornado in front of the home crowd in the white uniforms with the red numbers. They will control the tap. The Black Knights, as you may assume, are the one in the black uniforms with the white numbers, as McCaskey sizes up what they see on the defensive side. Luis Gonzalez out at the point, looks to penetrate, gets inside, and goes up for 2.
And it looks like Hempfield's going to come out and attack a man-to-man, slough off, and try not to let people get around them.
Tom Deal, who's been battling through some injury problems over the course of this season, back into the starting line tonight for the Black Knights, takes it across half court. That's Amaro with it right now, bringing Washington with him a long way from the basket.
Whether you can bring him out, the better off you're going to be.
Now they get it inside to Amaro. Amaro trying to power up down low, and Washington swats it away. Right in the hands of Brett Rose, who puts up the 3, no good, and Salisbury has the rebound.
I do love that idea, kicking the ball into him, trying to get Akeem Washington in trouble, foul trouble.
Salisbury has it outside around the perimeter. Now Gonzalez looks to penetrate along the baseline. His shot is blocked. Right back to him. Loose basketball ends up in the hands of Jeremy Dixon, and here come the Black Knights. Matt Cristino, the leading scorer for Hempfield on the season, averaging over 12 points a game. Gives it up out front to Tom Deal, the point guard. They're working on the wing, but it's taken away by Carlos Martinez. Martinez in a foot race.
He runs the floor, so you have to reward yourself. He runs the floor, and he finishes it off with an awesome slam.
Red Tornado on top, 4-0. Deal penetrates. His shot off the mark. Good offensive work by Tom Deal to get his hands on the loose basketball. Hempfield will keep possession. Lead inside. Amaro pump fakes once, shot no good, and Salisbury comes away with it. Dustin can handle the ball as well as he makes a great pass on the wing. Shot no good. Salisbury tipped it once, no good, and it will go over to Hempfield. Good work and good movement by Dustin Salisbury.
It looks like he was going to dunk it again.
We'll see now the dunk by Akeem Washington that has the Black Knights on top 4-0. Martinez misses. Washington with the follow. 2 minutes into the first quarter, 4-0. Hempfield on trailing the McCaskey Red Tornado. Hempfield with possession.
Tight man-to-man by McCaskey. They're not letting Hempfield breathe at all. Contesting every pass. They got Hempfield out of sync right now.
Unforced error that time by the Black Knights as they turn it over for the second time. Warren Goodling off the bench for Hempfield. They will call a 30-second timeout. 5:44 remaining first quarter, 4-0. McCaskey on top.
Hempfield's trying to get the ball into Alexis Amaro, and I like that idea. He's going to attack Akeem, even though there's a height differential. But the bottom line is you got to go after him to see if you can get him in trouble. Because if you're not going to go downstairs, you really have limited what your team can do offensively.
And obviously without Akeem Washington on the floor, it changes the perspective of what you're facing with McCaskey. Washington 6'8" from head to toe, but from wing to wing, he's about 7 foot tall. As you see, Hempfield's turned it over a couple of times. It really hasn't been the pressure of McCaskey that's forced those turnovers, but it has been the defensive presence inside of the shot-blocking machine of Akeem Washington.
I do love Hempfield coming out in the man-to-man. Like, we're going to guard you, but they just got to give a little bit more space so people can't get around them. Because if you're going to get around them, now the big guy's got to go contest the guard, come to the basket, and that leaves Washington Salisbury to clean up the boards.
McCaskey at 12-4 overall in the season, in first place in Section 1 at 7-0. Salisbury puts up the baseline jumper, no good. It's tapped up. I believe it was Patrick Mendez who will get credit for the field goal, and it's 6-0 Red Tornado. Patrick Mendez, the sophomore, getting credit for the bucket. And now a foul will be called. It's going to be the first foul of the basketball game, and it's going to be against McCaskey.
You know, Bob, Coach Powell was telling us that he thought this team guarded better than last year. I agree with it. It seems like they're all over people out there. Last year, they had people they guarded, but some people took a little bit of a break. Well, this team's aggressive on defense. I'm really impressed. Not
as good offensively as they were last year, as he readily admitted, but they can do it on the defensive end, giving up less than 50 points a game as Matt Cristino gets Hempfield on the board as Cristino hit from downtown his 26th three of the season.
That's a great drain with a hand in your face.
And Cristino cuts it in half to make it a 6-3 game. Salisbury looks to go baseline, draws the double team, and stepped on the end line and turns it over. So that quickly, Hempfield now with an opportunity to get right back in the game as Dustin Salisbury looking for his first point of the night.
McCaskey going full court with him.
Ball knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Red Tornado.
I think we may have gotten away with a little bit of a grab down here.
Marcus Vasquez into the game for the Red Tornado, wearing number 22 in the white uniform. Brett Rhodes gives it up to Cristino with a hand in his face. Cristino shot no good. Washington has the rebound. Salisbury will take it down the floor, look inside. Cristino tipped it away. It's going to stay McCaskey basketball with 4:40 remaining first quarter.
It looked like Dustin was looking to get that ball to somebody else the whole trip. He probably should have just pulled up and drained it himself.
Salisbury has it at the top. Now we'll give it up out front to Carlos Martinez. Giving it up the left-hand side. Vasquez puts up the three. His shot's no good. And back comes Hempfield. Again with a chance to get it to one or perhaps tie it if Cristino can drain it. Cristino with the three for the tie.
Got a fine-looking shot. Squares up, great extension, nice follow through, great rotation on the ball.
A 6-point run by the Black Knights, all of it coming at the hands of Matt Cristino with a couple of threes. We're tied at 6-6 as we approach the halfway mark of period number one. Salisbury perhaps trying to take over a little bit as he penetrates baseline and scores.
I don't think Hempfield's got to back up just a shade on defense so people can't get around him.
This game literally went to the wire in the first meeting between these two teams back in December. Dustin Salisbury scoring with a buzzer beater to win the basketball game, 45-44. The Black Knights turn it over for the third time.
McCaskey's going to look to push this thing as fast as they can, get around people, get it off the glass, and let Akeem and Dustin go after it. And the key is don't let them get around you.
Martinez kicks it on the right-hand side to Vasquez. Vasquez perhaps the best pure shooter for McCaskey. Salisbury has it right now on the right-hand side. He can hit the three. Instead, he turns it over. His Deal comes up with a steal.
That's a great front of the cutter coming through the lane.
The Deal gives it up on the offensive end, but gets it back on the defensive end, and now gets it into the hot hand of Matt Cristino. Jeremy Dixon now has it, drawing Salisbury with him, rubbing off the screen. Deal high off the glass for two.
It's a great little screen they ran right there, coming right off the screen at the foul line, extended right to the basket.
So Tom Deal evens the score now at 8-8, inside of 3 minutes remaining. And the Red Tornado turn it over. Hempfield now with a chance to take its first lead. A couple of substitutions into the game for the Black Knights. Ryan Kiscat, 6'3" senior, will check into the game, as will Jordan Herr. 6'1" sophomore Jordan Herr, the son of volunteer assistant coach Tommy Herr. That name sounds familiar. It's the former St. Louis Cardinal and Philadelphia Philly, graduate of Hempfield High School. Son number 2 coming through the Hempfield program is Jordan Herr, just a sophomore. Kiskaden has it along the baseline, tries to go underneath. It's poked out of bounds by Salisbury. It will stay Hempfield basketball.
Right now, Hempfield's big guys are attacking Akeem Washington, which I like. Now, he's blocked 2 or 3 shots already, but I still think you have to go after it.
And that is what Akeem Washington can do inside. He can change the game around. He is very capable of going with a double-double, triple-double even with the shot blocks. He has blocked as many as 8 and 10 shots in a game on a number of occasions. And Hempfield again will keep possession as McCaskey's going to get called for a foul.
Great stroke by Matt Cristino here. But the neat thing about this, look, he runs it down in the corner all the way from the top of the key. That's a great hustle.
Ball is poked away as Hempfield turns it over for the 4th time. Blocked the other way. Dustin Salisbury gets his 2nd field goal, puts McCaskey back on top 10-8.
You know what, Bob? That's when you know you can play, when you get beat up on the way to the basket, don't get a call, and you still finish off strong.
Deal goes underneath the outstretched hand of Akeem Washington. Akeem that time blocked it with his elbow.
I tell you, he is a force down there. He's a big boy with a great wingspan. Wow.
And a great upside. And they pass it. A great job by Kiskadden, slipping by the defense. Tom Deal dishes it, and Kiskadden knots the score at 10.
A little screen across. Coach Powell's going to be on somebody at the end of the quarter for that one.
Akeem Washington did not hardly play basketball at all as a JV. He was on the JV team at McCaskey as a 10th grader and saw very little playing time. Last year started at the varsity level and has become a factor and now becoming recruited by some Division I schools. And McCaskey turns it over now for the 4th time, and Hempfield again with an opportunity to go on top for the 1st time.
Hempfield's look like they settled down a little bit. Even with that intense pressure McCaskey's giving them, it looks like they're taking their time and are picking and choosing when they want to go somewhere.
Deal penetrates, gets the friendly roll, and Tom Deal puts Hempfield on top 12-10.
I love the philosophy. Let's go after them. We can't let them intimidate us. Otherwise, we're never going to be in this ball game.
Salisbury pulls up inside the 3-point arc in Kansas. Dustin Salisbury with 6 straight points, and we're tied 12-12.
Bob, I've seen him a few times, and I'll tell you, when he wants to turn it on, he can turn it on.
Kiskadden dumps it inside to Deal. Deal's fouled from behind. The foul's going to be called against Luis Gonzalez, I believe, and if so, that's number 2. Team foul number 3 against the Red Tornado. Alexis Amaro will check back into the game for Hempfield. And coming into the game for the first time for McCaskey is Taekwon Cooper, 5'11 senior, will come in for Gonzalez with those 2 personals. Tom Deal, who's had a good start penetrating and doing just that for Hempfield, and goes right up over the top of Washington for 2 more.
I love that little jumper when they put it high and he can't reach it.
Gut to the cat burglar for Tom Deal. Had to put that one up near the rafters to avoid Team Washington's outstretched hand. Inside of a minute remaining, Hempfield on top 14-12. And a turnover as Washington couldn't hold on to the pass. Back the other way comes Hempfield with 45 seconds remaining. See how long Warren Goodling wants to hold. Will he go for one last shot? Now down to 40 seconds remaining first period.
It's tough to hold it for so long. You want to, but it's tough to hold it for so long because there's so much pressure. You better just go after your shot the way it normally comes. Get it down to 15, 20 seconds. I agree. Let's go get one. 35-40, let's play.
And Hempfield turns it over as Mark Snyder now checks into the game for the first time. Snyder, a 6-foot junior, comes in. Kerr coming out to receive the pass, actually stepped on the sideline and turned it over. Salisbury spinning inside and jumping and fouled. Dustin Salisbury will put that one on the highlight reel. You want to talk about a quick first step, just watch. Dustin Salisbury brings the crowd to its feet as he ties the score at 14-14.
Dustin Salisbury, quick first step. He's going to take the ball. Look at this, right to the basket. Shields off the defender, and when you're going to give him space like that, it's going down.
And Alexis Amaro, trying to help out defensively, picks up his first foul and will send Salisbury to the foul line to try to complete the three-point play and put the Red Tornado back on top. Salisbury does just that. Dustin Salisbury now now with 9 of the 15 for the Red Tornado. 15-14, McCaskey on top, down to 15 seconds. Down to 12, Cristino has it just inside the half-court stripe. And a bump foul is going to be called on Taekwon Cooper.
You know, in games like this, Bob, you find out who wants the ball and who doesn't. You got to love Cristino and Deal. They want the ball, and they want to go places with the ball. That's great.
7.7 seconds officially left in the first quarter clock. Snyder will inbound. They set in the long screen. Kiskadden Look to go with a wraparound pass, but turned it over. Back the other way comes the Red Tornado. They dish it along the end line. The ball was kicked and stopping the clock with 2 seconds remaining. It will be McCaskey basketball under their own bucket.
When Ryan Kiskaden gets that ball down low at 1 foot away from the basket, shoot the ball. Ball and head fake it, do something.
The shot will not count. Oh, they do count it. The shot at the buzzer by Marquise Vasquez beats the buzzer, and Hempfield will now trail it by 3 at the end of the quarter. Dustin Salisbury putting the Red Tornado back on top, and at the end of 1 quarter play, it's McCaskey 17, Hempfield 14.
Sports Zone, I'm Brian Morrow. Today we've got a good boys basketball matchup between the Hempfield Black Knights and the McCaskey Red Tornado. They're out in Lancaster, PA, and are about to start the second quarter where the Knights are up 17-14. So let's go back out to the action.
Packed house on hand to see the McCaskey Red Tornado and the Hempfield Black Knights battling one another in the Lancaster Lebanon League alongside Reggie Weiss. My name is Bob McCool. Hempfield will start with possession in the second quarter, trailing it by 3, 17-14. And a good job by the Black Knights working the ball inside. Rhodes doesn't like it, and Amaro has it now at the top of the key. You see Hempfield struggling from the field just a little bit, but Matt Cristino's three-pointers got them back in this game in a hurry. Now Rhodes will try his hand from three-point range. No good. Rebound comes loose. Salisbury picks it up, and a traveling violation is going to be called against Dustin Salisbury. Salisbury tried to go around the defense of Jeremy Dixon, but they're going to whistle in for the extra step in the process. We'll see if we can pick it up.
I'm going to say he didn't walk before I see it again. Oh, he doesn't. He throws it down. He never had possession. He throws it down in front of him. Should have been okay.
Amaro trying to work inside against Washington, and a traveling violation now will be called against Alexis Amaro, trying to get Washington off his feet, and to his credit, he has not moved.
He doesn't have to move. He takes up so much space.
17-14, McCaskey on top and with possession. As Vasquez tries to go baseline, no good, but he will be fouled on the play. Foul number 2 against Hempfield.
I think McCaskey has 1 jumper from the outside at the end of the quarter, maybe 2. I'd like to see Hempfield back up a little bit, see if they could stroke it from 15, 17 feet. They probably can. But you don't want to let people get around you. It's just going to cause a lot of problems now and down the road with people getting in foul trouble.
Marquise Vasquez at the foul line for McCaskey. The foul was on Jeremy Dixon, his first. And if this game becomes a foul shooting contest, send the kids to bed because it can get ugly. McCaskey at 60% on the season. Hempfield at 56% on the season. Vasquez goes 1 for 2. Right back the other way comes Tom Deal, who's been the offensive spark plug for Hempfield. He's got 8 of their 16.
And too many McCaskey players were looking at their man and not watching the ball, and he goes 95 feet with somebody not stopping him.
18-16 McCaskey. Salisbury inside picks up the loose basketball. Dustin now in double figures with 11. Quickly back comes Hempfield. Rhodes pulls up elbow to the foul line. His shot hits off the back iron. Nothing called, and McCaskey comes away with it. Ball hit the guide wire, but got away with it. Salisbury off-balance shot, no good. Back comes Hempfield. Deal ahead of the pack is Jordan Herr for 2.
That was tough to bring that back. He was already underneath the basket. Tough basketball move. Great athleticism.
Nice catch by that Herr kid. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
He did it without a baseball glove on his hand. Jordan, an outstanding baseball player, good football player as well, good all-around athlete, following the footsteps of his dad, who was an outstanding 3-sport athlete at Hempfield. Taekwon Cooper with it right now, running the point for the Red Tornado. They lead it by 2 as we approach the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. This time the outside shot by Vasquez off the mark. Taekwon Cooper, however, took it away. To Salisbury, back to Cooper for 2.
Great team basketball right there. Dustin had it 5 feet. He looks like he could throw it down, turns around behind the back pass, and we got an easy layup on the other side.
Rewards Taekwon Cooper for his work on the defensive side. Alexis Amaro now has it in the low block. Nothing to do right now with Washington. The loose ball now on the floor as Patrick Mendez took it away. A jump ball will be called. They'll go to the possession arrow, and it will be McCaskey basketball, so it's a turnover for the Hempfield.
And you're exactly right, Bob. Alexis Amaro was attacking him early, and it's like, I'm going to get the ball in here. I don't want any part of this anymore. You've got to go after it. Otherwise, he's got you for the rest of the game.
tried to get him off his feet the first 3 or 4 times, and as we mentioned a moment ago, Washington not budging, and that time looked like Alexis just decided, all right, well, if you're not going to move, I'm not going anywhere. Now they're trying to work it to Salisbury in the low post. 3 players immediately around him, so he kicks it back outside. Martinez's 3, no good. Deal battling inside, comes away with a rebound. Quickly back the other way. Rhodes has trouble with it, and here comes the Red Tornado back the other way. Mendez, you're going to get whistled for the travel. Turnover both ways.
Hempfield had 2 or 3 trips with numbers and just can't seem to get it to go. Trying to do too much down at this end instead of just taking an easy jumper or a little penetration.
Ryan Kiskadden will check back into the game for Hempfield. So the Black Knights get a little bit bigger with Kiskadden joined at 6'3", joining both Dixon and Amaro inside at 6'4". So a bigger lineup on the floor right now for Hempfield. Tom Deal, who's had a great first half, taking it across half court, and he's going to draw a foul against McCaskey's Carlos Martinez.
Guarding it real well. Right at the end, he makes a little reach on it. I do love that he has Akeem Washington going 95 feet, full court guarding people. You got to like that.
James Brooks will check into the game for the first time for McCaskey, wearing number 10 for the Reds Tornado. Amaro this time steps away from Washington, but he can't get the friendly roll. Salisbury clears the rebound. Quickly back the other way. Carlos Martinez can't hold on to it. McCaskey will get a fresh look. Inside of 5 minutes remaining, 22-18. McCaskey on top and with possession. Salisbury baseline move, no good, but he'll go to the line.
He loves to attack the basket. I love that.
Team foul number 3.
Here he goes to the basket, and you know what? He's shooting over 70% from the foul line. He's got the body that's going to get a lot of three-point plays for you, and you got to love someone who's going to attack the basket plus stroke it from the outside.
And you got a good look at his footwork and his ability to get off the floor. He's got all the tools that any college coach would want. Tools have never been the question with Dustin Salisbury.
Bob, I think it was last year up here. I think he jumped too high. Remember on one dunk? I think he jumped too high and threw it down, hit the back of the rim.
And you know you hate when that happens.
Yeah, I used to have that problem a lot.
23-18 as Salisbury goes 1 for 2 at the line. McCaskey's lead is 5. 4.5 remaining in the first half. Matt Cristino, who had the 2 threes that got Hempfield back into this game, and they trailed initially 6-0. Salisbury knocked it loose. Deal gets possession. Amaro inside had a block from behind by Washington, and he's fouled, I believe, by Washington.
I'll tell you, Akeem Washington goes after anything that gets near that basket, and he is a presence. Look at this block by Akeem Washington. You got like Alexis Amaro goes after him that time. Gets an easy pass, and you've just got to attack him. He's going to get in foul trouble if you come after him enough, and you start giving him a little ball and head fake.
Alexis just a 56% foul shooter in the season, but makes the first. As Washington does pick up his first personal, team foul number 6 against McCaskey. The bonus time for Hempfield from here on out as Amaro gets his first points at the foul line. 23-20, McCaskey on top.
That's a nice little stroke there. Didn't look like a 55% shooter there. Great form.
Salisbury on the low post, gives it back out front. Now it's Tyquan Cooper to Martinez, back inside. Dixon knocked this one away. Good defense by Jeremy Dixon, forcing the turnover. Back the other way, Tom Deal penetrates, has it blocked. Last touch by Washington. Going to stay Hempfield basketball. Good quick hands that time defensively by McCaskey's James Brooks to knock it loose. Tom Deal thought he had a layup, and it was quickly taken away from him. Deal will now inbounds. Again, looking for the backdoor cutter. It's Amaro for 2.
They run that same play twice. A little screen across. Little screen for the screener, and when they're getting lost in it somewhere.
Warren Goodling off the bench certainly liked it. He liked that play so much they ran it again. And it's now a 1-point game. McCaskey just cannot put Hempfield in the rearview mirror. Salisbury baseline pass. Washington will go to the line.
They run that play again. I bet you, score again. I bet you Coach Powell's on the floor for the next time they run it.
3:37 remaining in the second quarter of play. Alexis Amaro picked up the foul for Hempfield. That's his second personal. Team foul number 4. Washington just a 50% foul shooter on the season. And he makes the first. So all those numbers we talked about as being bad foul shooters, apparently doing a lot of practicing this week.
And that's not a bad stroke either.
We started to talk about Akeem Washington and the fact that he did not play hardly at all as a JV. Played significant minutes as a starter last year, and now being recruited with his overall raw potential, some D1 coaches are interested in Akeem Washington. Hempfield is going to turn it over as they couldn't control it on the rebound. And with 3:30 remaining in this first half, it's now 24-22, McCaskey on top.
Presented in part by Ed.
Comes back and drains a three. Cooper now with 5 points, and the lead is 27-22.
Boy, somebody got lost from McCaskey. He sits all alone.
Jay Enoch, however, couldn't knock down the three-point shot. Now Hempfield in danger of falling behind by their biggest margin of the night. They trail it by 5 at 27-22. Martinez goes between his legs, gives it back to Salisbury. Salisbury this time a long way from the basket. Kick it out front, and they'll restart the offense.
You know what, Bob, when they don't have a break, I love their patience. They set things up. They know what they want to run. They're trying to get into the right people's hands.
Brooks gives it up out front again to Cooper. Swinging around to Martinez. Martinez thinking about rubbing off the screen. Nothing there. Outstanding patience this time offensively, and good teamwork defensively by Hempfield. Hempfield staying in the man-to-man defense and doing a good job of it. They double team at the high post. Martinez slips behind the defense. Nothing there, and a foul's going to be called on the rebound, and it's going to be called against James Brooks. So it's going to go over to Hempfield. And actually, it's going to be a shooting foul because that's team foul number 7 against the Red Tornado.
Saw Keem's shirt stretched down there. He was trying to move, and they kept pulling him back. I think he was talking to the official saying, "Can you watch that guy's hands on my back?"
So Ryan Kiskaden will shoot the foul shot for Hempfield. It'll be a 1-and-1 for the Black Knights. Marquise Vasquez will check back into the game for McCaskey, as will Luis Gonzalez. So it's Salisbury, Washington, Gonzalez, Vasquez, and Martinez out there right now for the Red Tornado. Matt Cristino, Jay Enoch, Ryan Kiskaden, Jeremy Dixon, and Tom Deal out there for Hempfield. As Kiskaden was 3 for 10 on the season, now he's 4 for 11.
I tell you, we brought them good luck from the foul line.
Kiskaden goes 2 for 2. He's got 4 points. The lead is 3 points, 27-24. McCaskey on top as we approach 2 minutes left first half.
Where we recalculate the foul shooting percentage at halftime.
Hempfield 4 for 4 in the game. Salisbury from three-point range. Dustin Salisbury drains his first 3 of the night.
And that's what makes him so effective. He can knock that 3 in your face. As soon as you go out to get him, he's right around you. Then he's got that big body, and he powers to the basket, and then he can make fouls. He's tough.
Cristino with the baseline turnaround shot, no good. Salisbury has the rebound. Dustin now with 15 points on the night. Putting up another 3. Good. Justin Salisbury drains another 3, and Hempfield will call a timeout with 1:31 remaining in the first half. It's now 33-24. McCaskey on top.
And that's a great timeout by Coach Goodling. We've got to keep this thing close. Look at this nice stroke by Dustin Salisbury. Watch the extension. Look at these elbows. Straight. Look at the follow through by the hand. Nice rotation. Nice height. Love the hair underneath the ball.
And Warren Goodling, perhaps the prophet, talking to us before the game about Dustin Salisbury's ability to score points in the last couple of minutes of the quarter. He did it in the first quarter, where he scored 6 of his 9 points in the first quarter in the last couple of minutes. Now a couple of 3s inside the last 2 minutes, and suddenly it's a 9-point lead for McCaskey.
And Coach Powell sat with us before the game and says he doesn't need Dustin to shoot every trip, but he needs him to step up a little bit more. When your best player, your guy who's getting D1 looks, and all at once he's shooting the ball 12 times a game, definitely not enough shots.
It was interesting as this season has progressed. Dustin Salisbury, who's used to playing with such talented players over the course of the last couple of seasons, Perry Patterson, Jerry Johnson, Bobby Eberhardt, some of the great players who have played for McCaskey the last couple of years. He was so used to playing with those guys, and all of a sudden they weren't around him. He didn't really have confidence in his teammates. Now Steve Powell, who's been trying to instill that confidence in him, is afraid that perhaps Dustin has gone a little bit over the edge and is not being selfish enough. But tonight he's got it going. Ryan Kiskaden with the 12-foot baseline jumper gets 2 quick back for Hempfield and make it a 33-26 game.
And that's a nice penetration by Mr. Deal to kick out.
Tom Deal has been a godsend for Hempfield tonight, running the point. Salisbury now toying with the defense, and this one is blocked away as Kiscadden with the help-out defense swats it away from Carlos Martinez.
This is a nice block, and if Akeem can do it, why can't I? Great block. Great anticipation.
Remaining in the first quarter of play. 33-26, McCaskey on top. Vasquez penetrates, pulls up to the foul line. His shot no good. Good box out down low, and it'll be Hempfield basketball. Well, McCaskey opened up his biggest lead of the night with back-to-back threes from Dustin Salisbury. Made it a 9-point game. It's now a 7-point game, and Hempfield with a chance to cut into that deficit with 40 seconds remaining first half. Deal has it right now. And foul is going to be called away from the basket. This one, I believe, is going to be called against McCaskey's Luis Gonzalez. And because of the bonus situation, it's going to send Matt Cristino to the line. Gonzalez now with 3 personals will come out of the game. And Patrick Mendez will come back in.
Tom Deal makes a lot of things happen for Hempfield, which I like. A lot of penetration, always finding people. And if you're lay him alone, he's going to stick it. And he's not afraid to take the ball to the basket also.
Cristino makes the first of the 1-and-1. 7 points now for Matt Cristino. Black Knights now 5 for 5 at the foul line. McCaskey, for what it's worth, 4 for 7 from the line. Cristino goes 1 for 2. Great rebound by Salisbury.
It's an NBA rebound.
30 seconds remaining first half. 33-27. McCaskey on top and with possession. We'll see how the Red Tornado choose to play it. Martinez pulls up, foul line jumper, good. First point for the night for Carlos Martinez makes it an 8-point game.
And that's a great stick off a dribble going to your left.
Deal will take it across half court now with 9 seconds to go. Deal takes a look at the scoreboard, looks to penetrate. Deal in traffic, scores. Tom Deal with 2 more, in double figures with 10. And at the break, it's McCaskey 35, Hempfield 29. Lemon League Section 1 matchup, McCaskey and Hempfield hooking horns with one another. And at the break, it's McCaskey 35, Hempfield 29, alongside Reggie Weiss. My name is Bob McCool. It's been a kind of game, Reggie, that both teams probably have some good things to talk about at halftime, probably have some things they would like to work out as well. But before this basketball game, Warren Goodling said to us the difference between his team being 7 and 8 is simply a matter of, in the 7, we've taken care of the basketball. In the 8, we have not. The pressure from McCaskey really has not been a big factor in this game so far for Hempfield.
You know what? Tom Deal is taking the ball to the basket. He's loosening things up. Matt Cristino's taking the ball and handling it real well. It seems like they're not intimidated right now, and that's excellent. They're being picked up full court, and they're doing a great job handling the ball. They get off the first couple of minutes a little shaky, but they really have settled down and they're taking care of the ball with that intense pressure they're getting.
The one difference, we talked about this at the outset, that Hempfield is a much more balanced approach. McCaskey has a lot more of the star system because of the talent they had, and predominantly the star has been Dustin Salisbury. It's just difficult for for Hempfield to find anybody who can really match up with Dustin Salisbury. That's not a knock on Hempfield. There's just not a lot of people who can do that. Dustin Salisbury's been brilliant tonight with 18 points in the first half.
I don't know anybody that can guard this young man in the state, and I know that's really being outlandish, but boy, he's tough. He strokes it outside. He's just doing a great job. He's a 3-point shooter. He takes the ball to the basket. He powers it up. He's a great foul shooter. He's got a man's body. He goes to the basket with that quick first step, and he seals all people. I'm impressed.
And he's certainly done a little bit of all of that tonight. We have saw him post up down low. We saw him shoot the 3-point shot. We see him sticking one of those 2 threes he hit at the end of the first quarter. 18 points, 7 for 9 from field goal range, throwing 7 rebounds as well. He has adapted his game to the players that are around him. You mentioned Tom Deal, and we get a good look at Tom Deal's penetration right here. That's been the difference. When Tom Deal, midway through the first quarter, started to penetrate, he made a difference with his Hempfield basketball team.
Hempfield started off by going to Alexis Lamaro. 3-4 trips in a row. He wasn't getting anything. Things were getting blocked on him. Tom Deal and Matt Cristino start taking over. Tom Deal especially going to the basket, finishing it off, or kicking it back out for an easy jumper. I was very impressed with Tom Deal.
Those 2 3-pointers from Matt Cristino, the 2 you see on their screen for Hempfield, 2 for 5 from 3-point range. McCaskey 3 for 6. foul shooting numbers, the big difference for Hempfield, a team that went 8 for 21 against McCaskey in the first game and has been shooting at 56% on the season, 5 for 6 in the first half. Turnovers, not too bad so far in this basketball game, and the difference on the scoreboard is 6 points. McCaskey on top of Hempfield by a score of 35-29.
Hello, I'm Brian Morrow, and this is Comcast Varsity Sports Zone, where you'll find the best high school sports from all around your area. All winter long, we bring you wrestling, hockey, and boys and girls basketball, so be sure to tune in every weekday at 2 p.m. for all the local action. If you'd ever like to see our schedule or would just like to send me some email, check us out on the web at www.cn8.tv. Today, though, we're out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania to see a boys' battle between the Hempfield Black Knights and the McCaskey Red Tornado. The Knights had a 9-point lead that was cut down to 6 right before the half, so the Red Tornadoes have shown the ability to stay in this one. Both teams are now getting set to restart the action, so let's rejoin our local Comcast crew for the third quarter, where it's 35-29, McCaskey on top.
Back at McCaskey High School alongside Reggie Weiss. My name is Bob McCool. Big crowd on hand, and again, this is the Lancaster Lemon League's biggest rivalry between its two best basketball programs over the course of the last 4 years, Hempfield and McCaskey. McCaskey on top by a score of 35-29, and Hempfield will start with possession, but it's quickly taken away as Dustin Salisbury lays himself out defensively and forces the steal. Great pass inside. Martinez gets it inside, and Mendez with the double pump. Patrick Mendez, or excuse me, it's Marquise Vasquez who gets the bucket.
And what Hempfield wants to do is to make sure they don't get off to the rugged start they did at the beginning of the game. They settled down quickly, but down 8 already. They don't want to find themselves down 14.
37-29 as they work it inside. Deal now posting up down low. It's knocked away again, but Deal comes up with a loose basketball, trying to find Cristino. Salisbury tried to bump it off him, and finally Dustin Salisbury ends up with it in his lap, and back come the Red Tornado. Quickly down the floor, and Marquise Vasquez leading the break gets the 2 points. The lead is 10 at 39-29. Now, foul's going to be called as McCaskey has come out of the locker room, certainly picking up the defensive intensity just a little bit more.
You know, Carlos Martinez goes on the floor down at the other end, and it becomes contagious. The next guy goes, and all of us, we got a tip ball, and here's McCaskey's ball. Hustle's contagious. People going on the floor, everyone wants to start doing it.
Matt Cristino giving it up to Brett Rhodes on the left wing, along with Jeremy Dixon, Tom Deal, and Alexis Amaro out there. Turnover both ways as Martinez took it away and Rhodes took it back. Amaro looks inside and now scores as Alexis Amaro goes right up over the top of Carlos Martinez for 2. 39-31 is our score. McCaskey with possession and the lead.
And I think we're going to a 2-3. You know what, Bob? I think we may be in a box and one.
Salisbury
we are
on the left-hand side. Brett Rhodes in his face right now.
We're in a 2-2. Dustin Salisbury being watched man-to-man.
And Dustin Salisbury draws the offensive foul. Good defense by Brett Rhodes.
It's a great charge. Got his feet planted, stayed, and got run over.
Salisbury turns it over. We'll see it one more time. And Brett Rhodes gets himself back up on his feet and gets his feet moving.
Great hustle.
So Warren Goodling making the adjustment at halftime, with Salisbury getting 18 on them in the first half. Hempfield comes out in the second half and puts a box and one on Dustin Salisbury. And if nothing else, they at least picked up an offensive foul on him. That's the first foul against Salisbury. We'll see how it materializes from this point forward. Cristino for 3. Shot comes up short. Washington has the rebound, and here comes Salisbury.
And here's where he can also hurt you in transition.
3-point attempt from the baseline. Marquise Vasquez with the 3. Vasquez with his 16th 3 of the season. And it's an 11-point lead at 42-31.
You know, Dustin gets on a roll. He's going full court all at once. He doesn't have it. He pulls it back. Smart little play. Nice patience.
Dixon has it taken away by Mendez. Quickly ahead of the package. Vasquez for 2. And a timeout will be called by the Black Knights as McCaskey gets themselves on a run using their defense for their offense. 5:31 remaining third quarter. 44-31 McCaskey on top.
Coach Powell's looking for a foul at the end of this play, and I think he has it. Got nice penetration, nice little lead pass. Going right to the bucket, real hard. Well, I think we got a little bit of a body knocking it down. I think we got a 3-point play, but that's not going to happen.
as McCaskey will Hempfield burns the full timeout. Warren Goodling, again, making the adjustment at halftime with Salisbury. For what it's worth, Steve Powell is still arguing the call at the end of that play. But it has been the defense for McCaskey that has made their offense get going again in transition as we see them getting the steal and then quickly pushing the ball down the floor and beating Hempfield back at the other end.
And you would think Hempfield, after they weather that first erratic 2 minutes at the beginning of the game, settle down. You'd think they would come out at the second half, settle down again, and all at once we're back to being erratic, throwing the ball around, getting picked. Can't do that against McCaskey.
A 13-point lead right now, the largest of the night for McCaskey. There you see the 9-2 run in the 2 minutes and 29 seconds we played so far in the third quarter. And as a result of that, McCaskey now on top 44-31. Tom Deal gives it up on the right-hand side to Cristino. Cristino gives it up to Brett Rhodes as they work it inside to Amaro. Amaro pumps once, pumps twice, gets Washington up off his feet, and he's going to go to the line.
That's what we were looking for him to do after the first 2 minutes of the game. Just attack him with his body, and you just got to make sure that you're attacking the basket, not falling away. He's got him where he wants him, and he got him up in the air. Then go after it. Don't fall back. Don't create space so that the officials tease daylight in there.
Amaro makes his third in a row at the foul line. He's got 2 fouls now on Akeem Washington. 3 fouls now in the first half. Second. Amaro now 4 for 4 at the foul line.
And a 55% shooter. I think he's in a 60% range by now.
44-33 is our score. As Amaro is now 4 for 4 at the foul line. All 4 of his 6 points, all coming at the stripe. And a near steal by Deal as he tips it around, and finally Brett Rhodes comes up with a loose basketball. But they give it right back as Carlos Martinez takes it away.
Well, he's taking care of a lot of passing lanes.
Vasquez open for 3. Marquise Vasquez with his second 3 of the quarter. 47-33. Marquise Vasquez with 10 points in the quarter. Deal has it partially blocked by Washington. And a foul's going to be called on the loose basketball. It's going to be against Alexis Amaro.
Boy, Carlos Martinez gets his hands on a lot of things. Takes care of a lot of passing lanes, always looking around. Never turns his back on the ball, always watching for cutters. And boy, he's stepping in a lot of times and getting steals.
A timeout will be called by Hempfield as we'll see the play again as Amaro came back to try to get the loose basketball, and he's going to get whistled for the foul instead. And Hempfield will burn a timeout, trailing by 14 now at 47-33. Big difference in this quarter. Marquise Vasquez, the junior who came off the bench in the first half, started the second half. Has 10 of the Red Tornado's 12 points, including knocking down a couple of threes. We asked Steve Powell before the game who he considered to be his best shooter. Again, the prophet, Marquise Vasquez, he said, is my best shooter.
Got a great looking stroke out there. Dustin being guarded man-to-man. Hempfield still in the box and 1. He still wants the ball, and that's great. He's just got to make sure he finds people, because with a box and 1, you know that as soon as he touches it, someone's going to come and help the man who's guarding him.
There you see the Red Tornado 5 for 8 from beyond the arc. Hempfield's 2 came very early in this game. In fact, it was 6-0 McCaskey before Matt Cristino picked up the 2 threes, the only 2 of the game for the Black Knights, to get them back to a 6-6 game. They have not been able to make anything from beyond the arc since that point. 4:23 now left in the third period of play. McCaskey will inbound it. Martinez, Salisbury rubs off the screen, elbow to the foul line. His shot no good. Long rebound gets batted around. Contact between Jordan Herr and Carlos Martinez, and the foul is going to be called on Jordan Herr.
And there's Carlos Martinez again, going after the ball. He just has a nose for the ball. And when people say that, and I just said it, you know what? All he's doing is he's just running. He's just going after everything. He's just staying awake out there.
Carlos Martinez, Akeem Washington, Dustin Salisbury, Patrick Mendez, and Marquise Vasquez right now on the floor for McCaskey. Salisbury has it now a long way from the basket, being guarded by Jordan Herr, as the Black Knights have now fallen back into a man-to-man. Now they go for the lob pass. Salisbury gets tied up in traffic, and they turn it over.
Tied up and held up.
Cristino ended up taking away the loose basketball. He finds Jeremy Dixon right side. Washington swats it away. And a great job by Mendez to save possession.
Better get it up fast when Akeem's around, because if you don't, you're in trouble.
And a great job of timing it by Jordan Hurd. He stepped on the end line, got away with it. Salisbury's not going to get away with a goaltending call. So Jordan Hurd gets the steal and the bucket on the goaltending call against Dustin Salisbury.
That's a great call. Gets it on the way up, but the ball got against the glass real quick. And here it comes. You're going to see him put the ball against the glass. And as soon as it gets there, Dustin gets it. That's goaltending.
47-35 is our score. Hempfield now back to within 12 and needing a defensive stand right now against Vasquez as he puts up the off-balance 2. Shot no good, 1 and done for McCaskey. Tom Deal running the point, has it tipped out of bounds. Martinez again with those quick hands.
He's causing a lot of problems out there, let me tell you.
Ryan Kiskadden, Jordan Hurd, Jeremy Dixon, Matt Cristino, Tom Deal, the 5 on the floor right now for Warren Goodling's Hempfield Black Knights. Luis Gonzalez will check back into the game for McCaskey. It's been a tough night for Luis. He has just 2 points. And he picked up 3 quick fouls in the first half. Kiskadden has it now on the right baseline, trying to draw Washington away from the low post. Now Kiskadden moves to go baseline, has it blocked out of bounds, but he stepped on the end line before. And Hempfield will turn it over.
You get around Akeem, it's not open yet, because he's around somewhere. Boy, he's going to get his hands on it.
Objects may appear closer in your rearview mirror.
I love that. How come it's not in the driver's mirror?
Inside of 3 minutes remaining, third quarter of play. Mendez puts up the 2, no good. Deal has the rebound. Deal quickly pushes it ahead. Jordan Hurd with the touch pass, but Dixon couldn't hold on to it, and he's going to get whistled for the travel. Good ball movement that time by the Black Knights, but Dixon just couldn't hold on to the pass.
Hempfield looks real comfortable in transition. I mean, they're doing the nicest job as McCaskey is in transition. Their problem is when it gets to a half-court defense, half-court offense, I should say, McCaskey seems to drive him crazy. Alexis
Amaro checks back into the game for the Black Knights with 3 personal fouls. Salisbury now being guarded by Kiskadden. Pulls up for 2. First 2 of the second half for Salisbury. He's now got 20.
And when he looks like he's coming at you, you want to back up a little bit. As soon as you do, you got to put it right in your face.
Dustin right at his average now. Average is 20.6 per game. His high on the season is 40. That came against York.
Watch how he makes a little maneuver here, creates some space, and like I said earlier, great rotation, great height underneath the ball, great follow-through. He's got a great-looking shot.
And this McCaskey team is battle-tested, to say the least. 12-4 in the season. Their 4 losses have come against Coatesville, Simon Gratz out of Philadelphia, Chester in double overtime, and to Roman Catholic. And a steal now as McCaskey comes away with it ahead of the pack. Luis Gonzalez will finish for 2.
Hempfield's people are getting lanes to the basket, wide open lanes, but boy, McCaskey's just shutting them off real quick.
Tom Deal with it right now, being guarded now by Taekwon Cooper. Cooper had a good second quarter for the Red Tornado. Out, Amaro gets Washington on his heel, throws up the shot. It went through the bucket. Now they're going to have to wait and see if they call it before the shot or not. A foul is going to be called against McCaskey's Patrick Mendez.
And they're calling that good. No, before.
So a foul is on Mendez. That is his second. So it is indeed before the shot. So Hempfield will inbound the basketball. Jordan Hurd will catch the inbound pass, give it up out front to Cristino. Rubs off the screen, looking for the screen and roll, nothing there, and they throw it away. Good job by McCaskey to adjust to the screen and roll. They try to kick it out front and turn it over.
They really have turned up the pressure on the perimeter lately. They're just making every pass being contested.
Red Knot Tornado has forced 6 turnovers in this quarter as Salisbury comes off the screen for 3.
What can I say? He just looks really, really sharp out there. And the stroke is the same way every time.
His third 3 of the night. 15 now on the season for Salisbury. Amaro gets Washington off his feet and scores.
He's starting to get a little bit more aggressive this half, taking the ball to the basket, which he's got to do. He's got to get them back in it, and they've got to get it down low to do it.
42 seconds left, third quarter of play, and Steve Powell and the McCaskey Red Tornado will call a timeout to talk about it. 54-37, McCaskey on top. Reggie talked about the defensive pressure of McCaskey and what they've done, more so defensive intensity. They've forced 6 turnovers.
Hey, make him take the jumper. Don't bail him out. Don't go for that short one. Keep it in front of you. Next guy down, you're going to slide over. Keep on playing, guys. Slide over.
Clearest words you got out of that from Warren Goodling is next time down, a lot more energy.
And I think he wants them to look for each other a little bit more on the offensive end. Down at the McCaskey bench, great lesson to be learned. Stay on the floor, especially if you're Akeem Washington.
As McCaskey now will extend their lead as Taekwon Cooper drains the 3. 57-37, biggest lead of the night for the Red Tornado at 20. Work the ball inside, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called because Christina rubbed off the screen, had Salisbury on his hip, and I think Dustin's going to get whistled for the foul. It is number 2 on Dustin Salisbury.
McCaskey shooting the ball real well from the perimeter. Earlier I said, I don't know why they're getting so close to him. Now I know why.
Tom Deal rubs off the screen, penetrates his shot off the mark, no good. Salisbury comes down with another rebound. Final 7 seconds of the third quarter play. Salisbury with a long-range 3. This one off the mark, no good. Amaro's shot to beat the buzzer off the glass, and that will do it for 3 quarters of play. A good one for the Red Tornado. At the end of the third quarter, it's McCaskey 57 and Hempfield 37.
Welcome back to Comcast Varsity Sports Zone. I'm Brian Morrow. We've got a boys game going on in Lancaster, Pennsylvania between the Hempfield Black Knights and the McCaskey Red Tornado. Third quarter belonged to McCaskey as they shot 69%, outscoring Hempfield 22-8, increasing their lead to 20. So with just 1 quarter left to play, let's go back out and rejoin your local Comcast crew.
Ready to start the final 8 minutes of regulation at McCaskey High School, 57-37. McCaskey on top of Hempfield alongside Reggie Weiss. My name is Bob McCool. Lancaster Lebanon League Section 1 matchup. McCaskey at 7-0 in Section 1. Hempfield struggling through the first half of the section play at 2-5, but still only 2 games out of a playoff spot in the section. As Taekwon Cooper rubs off the screen at the foul line, comes up short at the offensive end.
You know, Bob, Coach Powell was telling us he thought his team was getting better and better as the season is progressing. I think he's right. They really turned it up there in the third quarter.
Outscoring Hempfield 22-8 in the third period, forcing 9 turnovers in that quarter. Amaro pulls up from about 15 feet. His shot no good. Salisbury now at the double-double mark in points and rebounds. Dustin now down in the low post, uses the basket as a screen as he goes up and around for 2. 25 points now for Dustin Salisbury.
Great job of sealing off and then putting his body on the other side of the basket so no one can get the ball.
Deal goes around the defense off the glass, no good, and Salisbury comes away with another rebound. Dustin giving the home folks here at McCaskey High School a show tonight. He's done just about everything on both ends of the floor. There he goes again.
He's doing it every which way you can.
Reg,
outside, inside.
Excuse me, you mentioned a moment ago about the physical build of him, that he does indeed have a man body for an 18-year-old senior in high school. I mean, he is just simply bigger and stronger than anybody that goes up against.
You know what, we've seen him a couple times last year, and people have he's had a knock on him that he doesn't play, gets in mood. It seems like he's more focused this year. It seems like he's just staying in his game plan. He went to a box and 1. He just stayed within that plan.
Tom Deal has it right now along the baseline, kicks it outside. Amaro looks to penetrate. Alexis uses the left hand for 2.
Great little penetration to the basket.
Amaro now in double figures with 12. 61-39 is our score. McCaskey on top. Salisbury now trying to post up down low as Gonzalez puts up the quick 2, no good, but Salisbury there to clean it up with the offensive end.
He jumps so well also, besides every other great attribute he has. He doesn't foul people. He goes on top of them. He just pulls the ball. He snatches it right off where they should be giving it.
Evan Ernst penetrates, and the shot is blocked by Washington. It's going to be a goaltending call as the team pinned it on the glass.
Well, I was right with the other one. I'm going to say this one's wrong. I think this is a great block. The other one I thought was goaltending, and the ball was against the glass. I think this is a great block. We're going to find out together. Here comes Akeem going after it. Can't see it.
You get so high, you go right out of the camera range.
So you know what? Since it's out of camera range, I'm going to say I'm right.
63-41 is our score. Evan Ernst getting his first field goal tonight on that goaltending call. And now a whistle as Salisbury again posting up down low. Jordan Herr trying to body up with him. And a foul's going to be called as Salisbury had it knocked away from him momentarily. Foul is on Brett Rhodes. That's his first. Miles Gallagher will now check into the game for the first time for McCaskey, wearing number 15. Also into the game for the Red Tornado, wearing number 40, is junior Leroy Bass. Salisbury will take the inbounds pass, again being guarded by Jordan Herr. Salisbury with a little shuffle, and will get called for the traveling violation. The palming violation, to be specific.
He does a great job of getting his body down here, but he carries the ball, takes that palm up over the ball.
Mark Snyder will take it across half court for Hempfield. As we approach now 5 minutes remaining, Alexis Amaro taking advantage of the fact that Akeem Washington isn't there to block those shots anymore, and Amaro goes strong to the hole for 2 more.
Nice strong move, nice square to the basket, nice power to the basket.
Amaro averaging 11.7 a game, but he's been around the 15-point mark for the last 4, and you get 14 right now. Carlos Martinez penetrates in traffic and scores. 65-43 is our score. Herr looks to try to dump it down low, and Salisbury took it away. Quickly back the other way, Leroy Bass for 2.
That's a great pass from Dustin Salisbury. Excellent pass.
And another timeout will be called on the floor with 4 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. It's 67-43, McCaskey on top of Hempfield. Took what was a 6-point lead at halftime, and they have now extended it to 22, for the bulk of that coming in the third quarter, where it was a 22-8 run for McCaskey. As the defense, intensity of the defense for McCaskey, coming up with a lot of steals and scoring in transition.
Got a lot of new people on the floor, Bob, and I don't blame either coach. It's a great time to get great experience with this big crowd. All it's going to do is help you in the future for both teams.
And when this one is all said and done, McCaskey is going to run its Section 1 winning streak to 20 in a row. They have won now what will be 48 out of 51 games in Section 1. The only team that has beaten them, 48 out of 50 will be the streak for McCaskey. The only team that's beaten them in those 2 games has been Hempfield. The last time the Red Tornado lost a Section 1 game was December of 2001 when Hempfield beat them 57-55. Miles Gallagher gets loose from the defense, and Miles Gallagher gets the field goal.
McCaskey gave Hempfield a little bit of their own medicine. Little screen across, screen for the screen, and all at once wide open underneath.
Hempfield used it to their advantage in the first half. McCaskey uses it now in the fourth quarter. Jay Enoch puts up the long-range 3. His shot is off the mark, and Gallagher has the rebound. Quickly back up the other way come the Red Tornado. Pass is tipped away momentarily. James Brooks had it for a second, but it's taken away as both teams come up with the turnover. Left open for the outside shot. Justin Melendez puts up the long-range 3, gets his first points of the night, makes it a 69-46 game.
Got to be careful he doesn't get called for 5 seconds. A nice little stroke outside. Kicks back out again. He sits all by himself. Nice follow through, nice extension, nice rotation. Count it.
Makes it a 23-point difference on the scoreboard, 69-46. Big crowd on hand starts to file its way towards the exit as McCaskey will turn it over. Marcus Morales has a tough time holding on to it. And Reg, you can't get away from this basketball game without talking a little bit about the program that McCaskey has become. Steve Powell's done a great job of taking what was a good program in the Lancaster 11 League and expanding it beyond the borders of Lancaster County. They are now a team that has become a factor in the District 3 playoffs. They won 2 of the last 3 District 3 Quad A championships and in the state playoffs. Last year making it all the way to the Eastern Final. They lost to the eventual state champion Harrisburg. But year in and year out now, he has taken this team that was good to being very good to bordering on great year in and year out.
He does a phenomenal job, and you know what? I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed by the way he takes players that are like mediocre when they're in 9th and 10th grade. They stay in the program, they work with them, and all at once they become very good. Akeem Washington, a great example. Doesn't start JVs as a sophomore, and here he is. What a presence he is for McCaskey downstairs.
A guy that can just sit back and change the complexion of the game around with his shot blocking ability and allows Dustin Salisbury perhaps to roam around a little bit more. And Dustin's been roaming all over the place tonight as he will finish the game with 29 points. Mark Snyder penetrates and scores for the Black Knights.
It's a nice little penetration and a nice little pull-up. He sees people waiting for him downstairs. I'm going to take the jumper right here at 12 feet.
First field goal for the senior Snyder. Gallagher pulls up from 3. His shot is off the mark. Jordan Herr has the rebound and looks to run for Hempfield. Quick break pass ahead of the pack as Melendez no good. Greg Morgan follows it up for his first field goal for Hempfield. 69-50 is our score. McCaskey on top. And a whistle away from the basketball. Talking about Dustin Salisbury, there is Akeem Washington. And the presence again of him inside. 6'8" is what they officially listed. The great wingspan. And what was impressive early on is Alexis Amaro, who's a much more physical style of player, tried to get him off his feet. Akeem just wouldn't budge.
And you better make sure you put it up high, because if you don't put it up high, you're in major problem. Tom Deal got one over, which had to feel good for Tom. He put it up to the lights, and Akeem just missed it. The other thing you got about Akeem is when they go full court, he goes full court. A lot of times you get your 6'8" guys saying, you know what, I'll wait for you back here. You guards, you go run it down. But he's at 95 feet guarding just like the next guy.
Luis Gonzalez at the foul line for McCaskey, strokes a couple. Luis now with 6 points on the night. It's all just window dressing as Hempfield is going to fall to 7-9 now on the season. Jay Enoch puts up the 3 and it rims out on him. And talking with Warren Goodling before the basketball game, he is obviously not thinking so much about an upset tonight as about building blocks for where his team is and whether or not they can qualify still with an outside shot of both the Lancaster 11 League playoffs and the district playoffs. And he pointed out to a couple of seasons in the past where he's had teams that got off to a sluggish start, but he has specific guidelines that say, hey, look, I've had this happen to us in the past, and we still were able to make the postseason and turn the season around. It only takes 1, maybe 2 games to get us rolling again.
And you know what, the great coach like Coach Goodling is, you know what, your kids just stay with him and just believe in what he's trying to get across, and things will work out. When you start getting your head down and don't believe in your buddies, your coach, and so forth, that's when you're going to run into some problems.
Inside now with 40 seconds remaining in the basketball game. McCaskey again will run its record to 13-4 and 8-0 in Section 1. Looking to try to make it 3 in a row in the Lancaster 11 League playoffs. They beat Lancaster Catholic the last 2 years for the league title. We talked at length about the fact that this is the biggest rivalry in the Lancaster 11 League. The second biggest one we might have in a couple of weeks, and that's Lancaster Catholic and Columbia. If there's a rivalry that can match McCaskey and Hempfield, it's Lancaster Catholic and Columbia. And the Crusaders are off to a blazing start so far in this season in Section 3.
This is a great run of the floor to go get it. I love it. Didn't quit on it at all. Second guy trailing goes up and goes gets it. Great hustle.
Justin Melendez hits another long-range shot to beat the buzzer. And the McCaskey Red Tornado add another one to the win column, running their record to 13-4. The final score from McCaskey, it's the Red Tornado 71 and the Hempfield Black Knights 53.